All right, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Bahamut, your caster this evening, and on the left-hand side, we are going to be having Adults with Jobs, and on the right, we are going to be having Tilted Miners. This is a Nexus Gaming Series Division A matchup, and let's get into this, as we did have the coin flip before this was won by Tilted Miners. They went ahead and banned out Dragonshire. Tomb of the Spider Queen was then taken off the table by the members of Adults with Jobs. First map was chosen, obviously, by Tilted Miners, giving us this beautiful, beautiful Sky Temple game. And then game 2 is going to be Cursed Hollow, chosen by Adults with Jobs. I'm excited to get into this because we are going into two large maps. Honestly, something like I was flipping through my notebook as we were kind of like loading into lobby and stuff. And like, you know, we don't get Cursed Hollow here and there, but there's a lot of, like, I would say these long maps, macro play and rotation advantage, and just I gotta say, macro play again. Like, that is a huge, huge thing that a lot of these teams need to worry about and consider in this situation, because you can get outplayed and out macroed so easily on these maps. I mean, for example, right here on Sky Temple, you can brawl around the objective so well. But at the same time, if you have an Abathur or a Lost Vikings or any sort of split push with like a Dahaka or a Falstead, any of that global threat constantly pressuring the lanes, that is so hard to deal with. So we're actually going to be seeing Adults with Jobs taking out that Abathur. They don't want to deal with that asset here. And who can blame them? I mean, it's an Abathur. It's an absolute annoying thing. The first Sky Temple activation phase is top and mid. After that point, you rotate, or during that phase, actually, you rotate Abathur in the bottom lane. He can... we'll say he can actually body soak the minion wave, also pushing that out a little bit as well, and also then just hat another lane, soaking that experience. So there's a lot of good value with Abathur on these large maps. So Adults with Jobs taking that off the table. And then the Sonya, great in that solo lane, great on the shrines, or I guess temples is a better term, or correct term. The temples with the Sonya is great because she can solo them. She's great in the 5-member fight. She's very versatile, and she's great in this situation. But we get into the first picks here, and I am curious as to what we're going to be getting. You know, there's a lot of Diablo play. I was actually fiddling around with Diablo actually before stream. From Hots, Adults with Jobs needs to win this. All right, well, we got someone in chat cheering them on. Glad to have you here. Thank you for coming by and supporting the stream. Richard Greer, thank you as well. Man, thank you guys for coming by and hanging out. Or gals. But this first pick here, I've seen a lot of Diablo, and I started to allude to, like, I played with it before. Like, Diablo is just like, it's one of those heroes that, like, I'm not mechanically like diverse enough with. Like, I can play like some heroes like ETC. I was playing Phoenix before. I'm starting to get my hands on Phoenix a little bit and understanding. The only thing is the actual laser cutter skill shot's a little difficult. I'm starting to get used to like the actual like shooting that out and actually maximizing the amount of damage you can get out. But we're gonna have a Maiev on the side of Adults with Jobs, and still in where she sits right now, I think Maiev is absolutely so powerful. No seeds reason whatsoever. Oh, I think people in chat just want Adults with Jobs just to win. But the Maiev is so extremely powerful in these situations, because you are going to be having 4 or 5 member team fights, and in that play, Maiev excels because there's resets off the queue. The Umbral bind onto multiple members completely disrupts that team fight. I really like that first pick on the side of Adults with Jobs. Before they go into ban phase, at least on the side of Tilted Miners, they're gonna pick up their Blaze and the Genji. Okay. Genji extremely powerful here in the rotations, the poke, the dive onto the backline. We'll see though, because I don't know, at this point with the Maiev, that there's a lot of avenues you can go here. You don't have to play dive, but it's on the table, and I personally say lean into the dive and get it, brawl them on the side of Tilted Miners. Try and, take the advantage in the fight by being the ones to initiate it and then kind of control it. I honestly think that if they grab the Diablo here and a Stukov, I think, or even a Malfurion, it's kind of a toss-up. I like the Stukov with the Diablo. I think the single target disengage can be really powerful. Even then, the Flailing Swipe could be powerful. The only thing is it could also anti-synergize with Apocalypse. Though we have been seeing, and I've been hearing many people talk about Lightning Breath. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that will come out. I mean, it's a point control map. It's considered a point control heroic, but we actually get the Falstead and Varian. So the Varian is going to be shutting down that Genji with the taunt there, and then we're going to have Falstead for point control, boss control, overall map pressure, rotations, the macro play that I talked about a little bit at the start of this draft. But I like the Varian here. I think that is going to be a good shutdown onto the Genji or any sort of member that does try and escape from any single point. Then you have the Maiev to pull them back with the Umbra Bind, or even then drop the Warden's Cage around them, and a lot of good assets there. I don't think it's going to be a Hinterland's Blast, or I think as I've heard it as the poor man's Planet Cracker, which is kind of like backwards to me, because it's like, wait, like the other one came out first, but whatever. I'm really liking the start of these drafts, and realistically, on the side of Tilted Miners, I'd be looking at banning out strong support that would pair well into their team. And I still think, okay. I wasn't expecting that, but I think it could work. There's a lot of setup with the Stay a while and listen. The ability to put up the potions is really powerful. The other thing, too, is Lornado has just really good reposition value, much like how we have Gust. So I think that could be a huge asset for the members of Adults with Jobs, and maybe they favor the Deckard Cain. Maybe they've been playing the hero a lot, but I was just like, I still put a lot of priority under the Stukov and Malfurion in this situation. But it looks like they're going to go ahead, take out that Uther. There is that possibility for the Divine Dragon Blade. You can also grab an ETC at this point. Blaze can be the solo tank, but in this situation, typically we see them in the solo lane, and we'll have the the main tank. And the Uther ETC, I still think would have worked. Into the Varian could have been a little challenging, but overall, I think the disrupt that you could have got there and the crowd control would have been huge for them. What do they grab? They've got the Blaze, they've got their solo laner, they've got Genji for some dive onto that backline, which at this point is fairly mobile. Has got some options for a little bit of a disengage from the Genji, but we'll have to see how that chase plays out. They need a support still. They'll need... It says something else to benefit that Genji, like a Jaina or a Dan. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. And there's the Kael'thas. Okay, so that's some setup for them. Still gonna need no, that's I'm thinking of Cyberhawk. That's not Cyberhawk. That's the steampunk Kael'thas, which I do not think that skin is banned. Alright, they'll need a main tank. They're not going to solo it with the Blaze. I don't think Tilted Miners would. And on the same side of Adults with Jobs, they're going to be needing their support here. As I said, I like the Stukov. I still think it pairs well. You even that, like the Malfurion, I think it's adjustable between the two. I think the Stukov zoning is really powerful, and the shutdown into Genji can be great. The other thing I was going to note is, do you have the factor of Varian with the taunt, and then you drop a silence right underneath that? The disengage that you potentially would get from a Genji or a Blaze at that point, which would use, the jet propulsion or the swift strike, or even the agility just to get away. Okay. Alexstrasza for the point control. Her Royal Thickness will be dropping down in the dragon form and just going to go ahead and... It's a very good zoning tool. I think that the healing can be great for the team. The only thing is, anytime that healing circle comes out, look for Kael'thas just to dump damage in that circle every single time, to zone them away and maybe punish them anytime they're trying to go in for a heal. But it's all also on the placing of the Alexstrasza to make sure that she has it in the correct spot, not pushing it too far out, or too far down the lane where someone might be having to rotate into a gank. I played some quick mesh earlier, and it was just like, all right, we're gonna play it that way, I guess. But we do have this last pick on the side of Tilted Miners. They're going to need a main tank, I do think. I don't think they're gonna solo it with the Blaze. They've got Blaze to go into the solo lane, which I guess is gonna be into the Varian. I'm not too sure about how this setup is looking. I mean, Falstead could technically solo lane. We'll have to see what the build is at the start, and that kind of will be indicative of what they're gonna go for. But they go ahead and they grab the Joanna. Blinds to kind of shut this down. They actually have a lot of blinds on the side of Tilted Miners. They've got the blinds out from Lily, as well as, depending on what build she goes into, you have the Water Dragon? Yeah, the Water Dragon is going to be also dropping out some blinds with, I think, the level 4 talent if you do take that. You've also got the Shield Glare from the Joanna, so definitely a lot of good DC control, and I'll dive in damage. I gotta say, Tilted Miners, I'm really liking their draft here. We're gonna have to see here as we get into this game number 1 between these two teams. Between the two, I really don't know who I would give it over to. I think the point control can be really, really powerful for the members of Adults with Jobs, but at the same time, there's a lot of control and a lot of fight that I mentioned during draft for the members of Tilted Miners, and that's where it's going to come down to. I think 10 is going to be a big jumping off point for both these teams. We're going to see what they're going to be able to do. I actually have been seeing a lot of Kael'thas's go into the Pyroblast, so we might be seeing that, as there isn't really too much to deny that on the side of Adults with Jobs. But we're going to find out. Maybe they go into the Life Binder. Shout out to Curve for that one. All right, let's get into this. Adults with Jobs on the left-hand side. We're going to be having Myrmidon on the Valera, Retrofunk going to be on the Nubarak, Randy going to be on the Varian, Nat's going to be on the Alex Straza, and rounding it out with Tadaba on the... that spray is too good. On the Falstead. And on the right-hand side, we are going to be having Tilted Miners, with Rucktail going to be on the Lily, Echo going to be on the Genji, I just fizzled on the Blaze, Jace going to be on the Joanna, and Arwolf on that Kael'thas. Let's get into this, as we do have some standard talents coming out. I was like skimming through these, and I was like, we have nothing really super out of the order. Some fast feet for the Lily. We actually have Falstead going into the Wingman at level 1 there. Correct, Wingman? Yeah. So going to be stacking up for the mercenary camps around the map, so definitely be playing in that solo lane for now, as it looks like Varian is looking maybe a little tanky. We'll have to see what they go in here, as Myrmidon going to be going ahead and getting the Unbinded and a couple members. Some resets off that Q, getting some poke damage. There will be the healing circle coming out, and as I said, Kael'thas will be dumping that damage, or at least trying to, onto that circle, trying to deny some healing, as Varian will be in that top lane. We're going to see who splits off there. It looks like it's going to be the Joanna and Friend. Yeah, it's going to be the Genji as well. Will be coming up here. Retrofunk going to be going ahead and grabbing the Vision, as Randy going to get pushed out of the lane. Peeking though down into bottom, we are going to be having that Falstead into Blaze. Fairly even back and forth at this point. We'll have to try and keep an eye on what the stacks are looking like for the Falstead as they dive into Arwolf here. The Bind will connect, and that is potentially going to be a dead Kael'thas. And actually, no first kill just yet. The blinds coming out, definitely denying that, as well as the nice healing coming out from the Lily there. We do have a little bit of some poke damage coming from the top lane area. Myrmidon a little bit low. Gonna go ahead and get that blink right out. No big deal, as we actually have stuns being pulled out into a couple. There is the Lily getting some damage, but gonna go ahead and just have those fast feet to get right out of there. Meanwhile, though, I will have to say they're dedicating quite a bit into this. Excuse me. They're going right back in for this, as Falstead, is going to be dying in this bottom lane. I just fizzled, and I was just going to commend the members of Adults with Jobs. I was like, wow, they're holding these lanes so well and not really giving up anything here, but we are going to be having the Falstead dying first. That will be Blaze getting that first kill of the game, as it looks like Retrofunk will be trying to get as much damage onto this Blaze and to interrupt them. Gonna go ahead and get that clear without a problem, and just continue to just soak this up, as we do have 4s for both teams. Thank you for that. That emote is just too good. Thank you. Falstead going to be coming back, though, at this point. Going to be going ahead and soaking up more of the lanes. We can check really quickly, sitting at 18 stacks of the Wingman. I do believe it's like 10 per... 20 stacks, excuse me. Okay. I think I was thinking of a different here or there. But we do have... currently going to have this camp picked up, pushed into bottom lane. I just fizzled. Will be doing the exact same thing. Kadava going to be down here, though, to get the clear onto this. Doesn't want to extend too far. They do have the flight available, so they do have that slight advantage to stay down here as long as possible. Blaze is going to be pushing this out, but at the same time, they don't have the immediate response as the Falstead will. And we also are going to be having really quickly to note that the Varian is going to be going for that taunt at level 4. So with that, going to be able to deny the Genji a little bit, maybe diving in on a couple members here, as it looks like we do have Randy going to need to back off as they scouted out too many members to deal with on that top shrine. This is going to be the mid picked up as well, so they're going to go ahead and trade these over. No big fights, no big skirmishes. Varian wants to try and at least get the clear onto this, and we do have some poke damage going to be probably coming out from the Genji, or at least trying to push this up, get a little bit more value, as they do dive in. No taunt coming out just yet. And it looks like they'll go ahead and just trade out towers. Falstead already went down into bottom lane. Just gonna go ahead and continue to soak that up. Genji diving in. No R button pressed from Randy there, as it looks like they will be pushing this lane up even harder with the Lili and the Genji, while the Kael'thas and Joanna finish out the camp there, as we have a dive in from a Nubrak. Currently have the Umbral Bind onto the Joanna. No Iron Shield or Iron Skin used yet. Dragon Form going to be popped out as well, but this will be the top fort falling in favor for the members of Tilted Miners. Currently, though, in bottom lane, we have Tadeva just continuing to stack up these stacks, sitting at 50 currently, so able to bribe the siege camp when available. But at this time, rotations coming out from teams, and we're just going to be looking at some pressure, getting to those 10s before the next temple phase, which is that bottom area. So this is going to be the nice big contest between the two teams, and we're also going to be seeing if, 10s versus 10s, that will be the big brawl. Otherwise, it's probably going to be one team backing off, split soaking the other lanes, while the team that has 10 basically will be able to just go ahead and pressure that up. But we do currently have a stun going out onto Arwolf. Not going to be able to follow it up with any kill just yet. As once again, just peeking down into bottom lane, want to make sure that we just keep an eye on this, because I missed that one kill, and I just fizzled making these rotations, making sure that they get the clear on this. Also, just going to go ahead and help kind of anchor for the team, as they do have the Joanna being the main, I guess, being one of the solo laners in this top lane. So at this point, having that Blaze anchor in some situations in the mid lane is definitely helping the friendly team also, boost their confidence a little bit. Maybe they can dive in on a hero or two, as it looks like they will go ahead, grab this siege camp, pressure that into the bottom lane, but that also will be the temple activating here in the next 20 seconds. Meanwhile, though, in top, we did have the bruiser camp picked up in favor for the members of Adults with Jobs. Looks like, though, we do have a little bit of a skirmish, maybe breaking out. Dive in from the Varian. Looks okay. I just fizzled. We'll be able to get out of there, and that is going to be 10s achieved for Tilted Miners. Not too far off on the side of Adults with Jobs, as it also, I want to note, they actually dedicated 2 members for this top lane, so that means that they're going to want to rotate on this as quickly as possible for this bottom, and that's what they're doing. They'll jump on this temple while they have the advantage. These 3 members are going to need to rotate all the way from top. We do have the Falstead staying up here just to go ahead and pressure this up even further to get more value. It's 10v10. We do have the shield wall. Okay, that is a Hinterland's Blast from the Falstead. Cocoon going to be from the Nubrak. Cleansing Flame, actually, excuse me, as we do have a brawl breaking out. The Phoenix will be coming out from the Kael'thas. We have the Alexstrasza going into the Cleansing Flame, going to help Randy stay alive here. The blinds come out. A Blessed Shield goes out and stunning a couple members. The dive in from a Nubrak will be there. We get the kill onto the Genji. There's the web wrap onto the Lili. Bunker is down at this time. It will be popped. Lili just coming out of the Cocoon at this time. We have Randy coming back from tapping the well. That is going to be a Maiev going to be killed, and Falstead following next, as well as the Alexstrasza just stacking on top of all that Kael'thas damage, and able just to dump those flame strikes down in that little area. And it looks like the 2 tanks make it out alive, but they get 3 kills and only lose their Genji on the side of Tilted Miners. Looks like they will be going ahead, finishing out this temple in the bottom here, getting the clear onto this camp, which won't get too much value. And it looks like overall they will hold this and win it over for the bottom lane. All 3 members, though, going to be popping back up at this time. Nubrak just going to be saying, all right, let's go ahead. Retrofunk's like, let's get some, experience back in our favor because they're starting to build a gap here. It's, there's about a level deficit between these two teams, and that definitely can start to grow on a map like this, like Sky Temple. There's a lot of potential for things to really start to get out of hand, as it looks like I Just Fizzled will be using the Jet Propulsion as well as the Speed Boost. Not going to be getting out of the way of that stun, as the Umbrebind will come out. They're going to go ahead and get the dive in as well as the taunt. I Just Fizzled in a bad spot, going to get body blocked by the Nubrak, and that will be the bunker coming down just to prolong this, as we have the Joanna coming down here. There is going to be the Condemn coming out. I Just Fizzled is able to walk away. They don't get the kill. That's huge for Tilted Miners. They don't stagger a death here or anything. Meanwhile, though, Falstead's still in top lane, going to be pressuring that up and just making sure that this camp doesn't get the value that they're looking for. But I got to say, that was a great play from the Blaze just to stall that out. Varian going to be going in real far there. Looks like we have the web wrap out as well onto the Kael'thas. Phoenix going to be down on the ground. They get the burn onto that, and it looks like no deaths. They back off. We are going to be having a double altar phase, or temple phase popping up here in just about a minute, as we have the Falstead still clearing that camp in top lane. Meanwhile, though, in mid, Blaze is going to be pushing in this to make sure that they get to the 13 and have that advantage. That is also going to be the temples activating in the next 30 seconds here. But Adulthood Jobs, they're going to need to go ahead and pick up some momentum here. They're going to need to be able to be ripped. They've got the 13 advantage. They're going to try and catch them in a rotation here into this camp, it looks. Varian walking through. Not scouting the bush. They scouted the bush at this point. They know that all the team members there. The taunt will go out onto Kael'thas. They go ahead and jump into the Cleansing Flame. Arwolf taking a lot of that damage, but they will be getting the healing out onto Arfunk, as we do currently have Hinterland's Blast coming out, confirming the kill onto the Kael'thas. We do have the Dragon Blade onto the Falstead, which will be getting that kill. So 1-for-1 trade at this point, as we do have Echo getting that dash out. Dragon Blade still going to be swiping onto so many members. They've stacked up, and that is going to be Alexstrasza falling. That is the cleanse onto the Genji. A lot of damage coming out onto Randy at this point, as they have been splitting off here, and it looks like that is going to be the Varian falling as well. 3-for-1 trade. The temples are going to be activating. The clear goes out onto the shrine, and they continue their map. They establish a very strong map dominance here and continue to hold that one level advantage over the members of Adulthood Jobs. But at this point, with this double altar phase, or this double temple phase, it's huge for them. They're going to get a lot of damage into the mid lane and into the bottom lane with this, as it looks like Echo and the Siege Giants are going to be pushing these members back. Retrofunk and Myrmidon are just trying their best just to at least mitigate as much damage that is coming down this lane. But with these temples just shooting straight at the forts, there's not much they can do. They go ahead, they grab their Bruiser Camp just to have something pressuring the lane after this. But with the double forts falling here, it's 13-15. They know that they need to take a fight. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and finish this out, potentially. Rotation coming out from the Genji and the Lili. It's just the Blaze, Lili, and Genji. I don't think they can do it. This is definitely a 3v5. Huge pull under Randy there with that, with the agility, but it will not be any sort of kill for either member. Though in top lane, a little bit of pressure. Falstead pushing this up, trying to just get that advantage, trying to get at least a response from the members. Oh, this is risky. I don't know if they don't see the Falstead flight, they're good. Oh boy. We do have a Genji dropping out of the game. That is good. Okay. Let's get back into this. Randy's going to go ahead and actually try and anchor for the team, but might be sacrificing themselves. We actually have the web wrap coming out in the perfect moment, but they also are going to be getting the Warden's Cage at the same time onto two of these members as Genji comes out of the web wrap. There is the Cleansing Flame healing so much. Echo is falling so low. They're not sure who they really want to target here, as Genji is low, kind of trying to pull the team away. Gonna actually Hearth in this bush, maybe be the death of them. Oh, the Alexstrasza Flame was exactly what they needed there. Oh, Jamster. How is the stream going? The stream is going phenomenal. Thank you for coming by and enjoying it, and hope you have fun. No, it's an absolute blast, and we're in game number 1 right now. We're gonna get yeah, we just had a little bit of a pause, so I gotta kind of like get my momentum back. But at this point, we are gonna be having the Siege Camp grabbed, going to be pushing down into the bottom lane. Meanwhile, though, these members of Tilted Miners, I think, might have been caught off a little bit by that fight, so they're semi-scrambling. It looks like it kind of seems they're splitting off at this point. A little indecisiveness, as we do have this mid-altar, or this mid-temple going to be popping up in just a second, and it will be, I think, focusing in the top lane fort, but we're going to see it's 16-16. Like, this is kind of, I wouldn't say do or die, but it's starting to get that late game factor where death timers are a really, really big factor in play. You know, that boss that just happened, that was, you know, a really risky play, and it was just because they saw some members, you know, in the opposite lane, so they just were like, let's go ahead and get this. Death timers, though, at this point, you know, we're getting to the 30-40 second, and that is going to be a huge asset into some of these team fights. Prolonging and staggering deaths is a great way to just snowball this map even harder and faster, as we do have that siege camp pressuring bottom. There is a bruiser camp in top. Varian gonna get some poke damage out at this time. Falstad gonna fly in. Team's gonna start to engage. They have the barrel roll forward. We have the Alexstrasza jumping into the dragon form. That is going to be the Hinterland's blast coming out, connecting onto one. A huge amount of damage coming out between these two teams as Alexstrasza will jump into the Cleansing Flame, trying to heal so many members. There will be the Warden's Cage coming out, but it is going to just kind of block some members away as Genji is going to be falling. Dragon Form dropping down from the sky. Condemn coming out. There's going to be a little pushback, but that is going to be our wolf falling. Hailthos is dead, and they get 2 kills and don't even lose 1 on the side of Adults with Jobs. Start to chase this down, and they're getting a lot of good value during this fight. Falstad going to barrel roll away and work their way into that top lane for that to get the clear onto this camp. But here's the thing, bottom lane, this is a huge asset for the members of Adults with Jobs. This pressuring with this stacked up wave is great for them, but it will be responded to. They're going to go ahead and just say, let's grab this top, make it harder for them to at least, you know, let's make it as difficult for us as it is for, or difficult for them as it is for us. They'll go ahead and take out that top lane fort and just continue to pressure this up. I like the play between these two teams. It's actually very, very even between these two teams, I do have to say. The early game fights were a little in favor for Tilted Miners, but as this late game has shifted, a lot of good dynamics are coming out from Adults with Jobs, and I really think that this is it's getting to anybody's game. Next 2 altar phase will be top and bottom, so we're gonna have to see how the two teams are gonna be splitting their attention for this double temple phase. I will say this, Adults with Jobs, they're pressuring the lanes a lot better. They're rolling fairly tight. The only thing that I'm definitely noticing in some of their fights is that they're stacking up quite a bit, and the Kael'thas is getting a lot of value from them just being so clumped up. He's able to, or our Rolf is able to dump so much damage down right underneath so many of these members, and that might be because the fact that there is a healing circle goes down, all the members clump onto it, and then Kael'thas goes, ooh, let me just pad my stats really quickly. So that's definitely one of the plays that they seem to be making. And at this point, I'm just really quickly, boss is gonna be up in a minute. Top lane's just been pressured up. They're all seemingly just gonna hold in top. They're gonna rotate. I'm curious how the teams are gonna be splitting off here. Do they notice them go into top, and do they try and take a flank, or do they just avoid the fight? Because at this point, both teams are rotating to go clear the camp that the other team grabbed to pressure that lane. So essentially, they've both just rotated map, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see them just trade this out. This late into the game, it's a little risky to split your team and potentially take these weird fights to get both value. But at this point, we'll see Falstad going ahead and getting in the clear onto this camp. We do have Maiev and Retrofunk rotating out, maybe just anchoring for the team. Joanna left at the top. They want to pull 4 members down here. They are going to be scouted out in this wave. That is the thing. They are also going to be able to soak up a little bit closer into that 20 range. It just fizzled. Going to be scouted out here. Varian going to be rotating off the point. There's a dive in onto the Anubrak. There is a huge Hinterland's blast onto a couple of members. The Warden's Cage comes out. That is going to be our roll falling here. The bunker came down. I just fizzled will be dropping out of the bunker and getting taunted. That is going to be the Falstad dying in response, though. Cleansing Flame coming out at this time. There's also going to be the Jug of 1,000 Cups of Blaze Falls. They dive in onto the Lily, and that will be the Lily falling as well. Genji and Joanna not going to be... I think Joanna was rotating down from the top temple just to help, and Echo was able just to get out of there, but... That's going to be Varian finishing out this bottom altar. Top is still available, and that is also going to be a boss pushing down bottom lane. And here's the other bad news for the members of Tilted Miners. That is going to be the bottom temple focusing this keep, and that is catapult pressure bottom, siege camp pressure bottom, and now on top of that you are going to have a boss pressuring the same lane. Nats Alexstrasza, too good, great hooks. Jamster, you're not wrong. These cleansing flames have been coming down very, very perfectly. The dragon forms have been phenomenal. The zoning that they've been utilizing with it is great as well. I gotta say, I always try and give props to healers because they never get enough, and definitely nuts. Nats is playing out of their mind. I was gonna say they're playing nuts, but bad puns. Meanwhile, though, Falstad gonna go ahead and get a few more stacks in this top lane. Really quickly, just seeing they're sitting at 10 stacks, as we do have this top altar going to be finished out. This top temple finished out by the members of Adults with Jobs as the bottom lane boss pressures in. Now they have 20 advantage. They're not going to be utilizing it, pressuring up with this boss. It is a little bit of a risky play to potentially do that, but they might have been able to take a fight with that 20 advantage and push in and end the game. At this point, though, it's going to take down the shielding. It's not going to do any core health. They end the temple phase, which is going to be popping up, I think, in the next 2 minutes. I think it's like around the 20-minute mark in the game. We should be getting the next temple phase. As Falstad is able just to rotate around, go ahead and continue to pick up more stacks. I don't know if they're going to have enough. No, they would need 40 for the Siege Giants. But at this point, we're going to be seeing the two teams just kind of rotating around, posturing up. And the death timers are so long. You got to take the right fight at this point. And also Jobs, Retrofunk going to be in this bush, Nat's going to be in the other one, making sure they're scouting this out. They do not want to take a bad fight in this situation. And you can see the exact same plays coming up from Tilted Miners. They're utilizing their safe rotational areas, behind the gates essentially, or sticking together as a 4-member rotation. Also, Joanna, not letting their Joanna just, be by themselves. They're trying to at least, use the buddy system. As it looks like Varian will go ahead, just push up top lane a little bit more while the friendly team will pick up this camp to push into the lane. And I mean, splitting the Varian at this point, a little risky, but if you do have vision, and I haven't been I haven't been particularly watching who's, scouted out through minion waves and such. If you can't see the enemy team, you definitely don't want to take any risky plays, but they do all rotate through that minion wave, so it is going to be kind of scouted out, and they're just looking for a fight at this point. Scouting out every bush. This bottom lane catapults will be pushing into the Siege Giants, so that has some kind of a little bit of D pressure there. We'll see how that plays out, but at this point they want to try and feed this into top lane as hard as possible. Looks like they're going to get onto Jace here. They're going to open up this gate a little bit. Just watching. I'm just like watching and waiting. The Phoenix comes out. The Dragon form is going to be popped as well. Hinterland's Blast going to be connecting on to 4 members there, giving a huge cooldown. There's the web wrap that will be going on to the Lily. They're going to try and burn that down as quick as possible. Dragon Cleansing Flame going to be coming out as well. They're getting some damage onto a couple of members, is healing so many back up to so much health, as it looks like they're going to be trying to dive on this and get the kill here. Nat's so low, going to be falling, dropping 1 circle before they fall. That will be the Maya falling as well, but Blaze will be going down as well. So a 2-for-1 trade. So far, it's in favor for the members of Tilted Miners, as that Jace would just barely, that Joanna, Jace there with just barely any health, able to get out. Oh no, Retrofunk. Do they get scattered out? Yo, Blizzard, that's not possible. Oh, this is going to be the Nubrak falling. And with that is going to be Adults with Jobs. They're going to be wiped, and this is what I was talking about. I kept mentioning this throughout the game, is death timers at this point. They have so much time on their hands. They're going to go ahead. They lost their Blaze. They're just going to go ahead. They can burn down this keep so quickly, and they can move on to the core. 15 seconds on Alexstrasza will be the first one. They already moved through a keep in 15 seconds. This core, it's getting burned down, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pop up in time, and it looks like that is going to be... And I want to, ooh, catapults. They might end the game. No, it's going to be the... Actually... No, the mini waves popping up here. Jugs are going to be popped as well. They're going to start to move on to a couple of these members. They're starting to get some damage onto this core. It's racing a little bit. Varian going to be popped up as well, but that is going to be game number 1 going over to the members of Tilted Miners. GG, well played. Wait, what? Blizzard! Can someone clip that for me, please? Please, can someone clip that for me? I swear to God, I just heard Towers of Doom. Like, I swear. I might be going crazy. Okay, sorry. Bank wins the tiebreakers. Third place now. Hey. I'm glad he thinks I'm being altruistic. All right. Sorry. I'm like splitting my attention all over the place. I just actually really quickly want to note. What does it do? Let me tweet at you, Blizzard. All right. So, really quickly, for anyone who might have joined us during a little bit of Game 1, or they didn't catch when I mentioned it during the first draft, Coin Flip was won by Tilted Miners. I forgot to update team score because I am just so split across. All right. Nope, that's the wrong side. My apologies. There we go. All right, so that's up to date. Really quickly, just to turn and burn this coin flip and draft everything. Tilted Miners won coin flip. They banned out Dragonshire. Tomb of Spider Queen was banned out by Delta Jobs. First map was chosen by Tilted Miners, which was Sky Temple, and they won it. Now this is the map choice for the members of Adults with Jobs. That is Curse Hollow. This is our second game of the evening. Let's get into this as we have the Tyrael banned out. Extremely strong for the boss control. And Sonya going to be banned out once again on the side of Tilted Miners, but a Genji first pick on the side of Tilted Miners is interesting to me. Personally, I hold a lot of value for Hanzo here. I think Hanzo has an insane amount of value for any team on this map. Boss burn, poke, vision, mobility. I think Hanzo offers a lot more into this map than Genji can. Now, granted, I don't want to, play it down that the Genji in the last game played a phenomenal game. I think it was Echo, if I was saying their name right, played a phenomenal Genji. So if they're locking it in, that's a comfort pick, and they know that they can do a phenomenal job with it. Great, go for it. Like, and at the same time, like, Genji does offer great poke, has great mobility as well. It's just what I'm looking at is the boss burn, the setup that you can get with Dragon Arrow. I think is huge for teams. I've heard the tower's voice on games 2 when loading into Cursed. Okay. Gino, hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming by. Okay, so I'm not going crazy. Like, I didn't, definitely said Towers of Doom. Okay, because, like, I panicked because I was like, did I select the wrong map? Like, I'm like, no, it's Cursed Hollow. Like, what? It was the artwork and everything. Okay, no, we're good. Thank you guys for confirming that, I was not losing my mind. But we do have a Joanna and Falstead first pick on the side of Adults with Jobs. Once again, that Falstead for the global aspect and the pressure there. Now, I'm curious to see if they go into that wingman again, or if they're going to be changing up the build. And then the Joanna is just extremely strong in these fights that you need a lot of sustain and just tankiness. Like, Joanna just absorbs damage, and I've seen absolutely insane Joannas just live forever, and you're like, how do you do this? And then I play Joanna and I die instantly. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Probably because I'm a gold player, and I can say that now because I made it to gold. I can no longer shame myself for being silver. I can say, like, oh yeah, I'm that classy gold, which doesn't mean anything better. But we're moving on up. But let's get to this draft. We have the Genji, Blaze, and then an Abathur. Okay, let's back this draft up a little bit here. All the way actually to Sky Temple, where I was mentioning macro on these two maps. When I was talking about the two maps of choice tonight with Sky Temple and Cursed Hollow, they are macro-intensive maps, and I talked about the value of Abathur being able to split soak in 2 lanes, essentially, while you have the objective available. So while teams are fighting over Curse, Abathur gets insane value, and all they need to do is just delay this as long as possible. They could have a Curse phase go for 4 minutes. That is the best day on Earth for Tilted Miners, because Abathur is just doing whatever Abathur wants, and it's just body soaking a lane, hat soaking another, and then you have someone rotate out into the current lane from the objective just to get the quick clear, and then back into the fight. You can keep this going forever, and that's just insane value for the Abathur, whereas that will force Adults with Jobs to fight more. So they're going to be maybe wanting to look into something that's more of aggressive, punish them in that early game, get that advantage, and not allow them to kind of snowball it with the Abathur macro pressure. And realistically, ban-wise, I think you'd... Okay. No, I agree with that, actually. I was thinking that they might want to mitigate some more dive and delay. No. No, I agree with that 100%. I like the Uther ban. Getting rid of the Divine Dragon Blade, that's a good thing to do. And the other thing too is, I mean, Uther has some great setup and stuns on top of the Blaze as well, and Genji just dumps damage. I mean, we're going to be seeing double Genji, which is absolutely terrifying here on the side of Tilted Miners. But looking at the draft, okay, yeah. It was strong in the last game. It's a point control based map. They can get a huge amount of value with the Alex Straza ban here. Whenever Dragon Form was popping, you definitely saw a lot of the members from Tilted Miners kind of back off, and they were just like, all right, we'll wait for that cooldown to go, and then we'll come back in for this fight. And that is some of the way that the members of Adults with Jobs really started to kind of take this back a bit in the last game. Curious to see what they're going to be kind of trading that out here at this point. They have the Falstaff for the Split Soap. Gohanna's going to be thinking in mid, probably. I like the idea of a Greymane here. I think the Greymane can handle their own in the solo lane, and then you can... No, because it's... I was going to say, getting camps would be beneficial as well, but you might prioritize the Falstaff for that? Actually, Leoric into the Blaze would be a really good idea here, and then they could pick up their like a Stukov for healing. And that could just disengage the Genji. Yeah, I like that. Leo. Oh, all right. Well, it's going to be a Zarya Decker Kane. I am 100% wrong, as it looks like we have the old man jumping into the Nexus here. Going to be dropping down some bottles. Stay a while and listen. Curious to see... All right, this has to be like a Graviton Surge Hinterlands Blast. No, but like... I almost took out my mic for the second time. Like... On a 2-boss map, like, you have to go Gust, right? You want that boss control. You've got to take that boss control. You need that boss control. I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, I definitely think that is a huge asset for them. But we'll consider here. We'll see what they end up pulling out. Genji Blaze. They'll still need a healer and a main tank at this point. I like the idea of a Diablo. I think that's a lot of good setup into the Blaze Genji as well. And then for support, you play into the Diablo strengths and you pick up Malfurion. I keep talking about these, but like that combination is so strong. Overpower into Roots, overpower into Silence. It's such a good tool to have. Arthas, though, going to be grabbed, and Malfurion as well. So double Root going to be coming out. They're going to be trying to just punish people, punish members of Adults with Jobs, and just dump damage on them with that Genji. What's your last pick, Adults with Jobs? What do you finish this draft out with? Pick up the Hanzo. Pick up the Hanzo here. You don't have to, but I think it's just such a big tool on a map like this. It's just poke damage, vision, all that. I don't have words for it. I want it on their team because I think it'd be huge for them. Trying to think what you'd pick up otherwise. Finally. Okay. Genji dives in. There's a silence. Can't move out. Tries to run away. Telekinesis. Dead. I gotta say, I love some good Alarak. I was gonna say Abathur play, which I do love as well. A lot of good heroes that I love. I love casting. Like, I love casting Alarak and Abathur games, TLV and Choco games as well. But let's get into this. I'm too excited about this. Game number 2 between these two teams. I don't know. Like, we'll have to see how the Falstad responds to the Abathur. I think that might be the outlier here. Deckard into Genji Abba dive. Curious. Yeah, I agree. We'll see. We're gonna have to see. Maybe they're gonna try and play around that weakness of their comp on the side of Delta Jobs. Maybe they're gonna try and bait them in and say like, "Oh, I'm just a feeble old man. Haha, I'm Alarak. You're dead." So that's an option here. We'll have to see what they end up pulling out. But I gotta say, like, I think that there's some good brawling I think we're about to see in this map, and I'm super excited about it. I'm running through all the possibilities in my head right now. I'm just like, there's some good setup on the side of Tilited Miners. I kind of like their draft, and the Abathur play can be huge for them. But I literally played a Falstead into Abathur before this, and it was fairly easy. So let's see. Definitely gonna have to see. Let's get into this though. Game number 2 between these two teams. All the bars were full. There we go. All right, let's get into this. On the left-hand side, we are going to be having Adults with Jobs with Randy going to be on the Zarya, Retrofunk going to be on the Alarak, Matt's going to be on that Deckard Cain, Mirmaduk going to be on the Joanna, and Kadava once again on the Falstead. I love this. And then on the right-hand side, we are going to be having a up 1 game, Tilited Miners, with Rectil going to be on the Abathur. We have Echo going to be on the Genji. Jace playing the Arthas. I just fizzled once again on that Blaze, and Arwolf on the Alfurion. Let's get into this as we have Abathur slugging their way up into that top lane. Sweet, sweet time. We currently have... Ooh... a brawl happening here as I just fizzled actually going to be separated from the team. Lockdown going to be coming out from the Deckard Cain, and there's a lot of damage going out onto I just fizzled. Still living through a lot of this here, getting that Abathur hat as well, but it will not be enough, and that is going to be Blaze falling here. First kill of the game going over to the members of Adults with Jobs. Setting a precedent this early into the game? I don't know. We'll see. Is Rucktail going to be actually a little out into this lane? I do like this aggressive Abathur play. We're going to see how they deal with that on the side of Adults with Jobs. As it looks like they're going to go ahead. They got that kill. They'll rotate their Alarak into the bottom lane. Blaze already, though, going to be up. And the one thing I want to point out, the experience value that you get from this isn't... Oop, that's 8 p.m. And I apologize. We had Falstead fly up into that. I was trying to pull up the XP and, you know, damage, like the XP you're getting from hero kills, just to be like, oh, it's not that much. But they go ahead and they pick up the Abathur as well. Adults with Jobs, these two picks this early game... It can play a little mental game into your enemy team. Getting these 2 kills so early is a little like it's happened to me before too. Like we wipe off the first 5v5, we all run into mid, and then we all just potato and die. And then you just get someone in chat just like GG. It's like, dude, it's like 2 minutes in. Like, but there's some precedent that's set with that. So we'll see how that kind of shakes out here. The one thing I want to note really quickly though, Kadava is actually going to be playing the Wingman once again, so getting those stacks to dodging that Howling Blast there, nice. But going to be working on getting those stacks to make sure that they have the ability to grab those camps and just pressure the lanes easier. Meanwhile, though, in bottom, Mirmaduk going to be going into I just fizzled, so the solo lane matchup might be a little bit difficult for them. We'll see how that shakes out, as actually Retrofunk going to be invading this camp, pulling in Genji actually beyond them. Gonna get some damage. There is going to be the Abathur hat as well. The response is going to be coming out from a couple members. Shielding going to be coming out from Randy at this point. Diving from I just fizzled. That might be the death onto the Alarak, and that will be a kill. Flat back from the members of Tilited Miners, as Genji with that hat is going to be poking on the Nats here, and I don't think that they're going to be able to deal with this. The old man's going to get a little speed boost, but Genji will dive right on through there, and that is going to be the Deckard Cain falling. So a nice 2 kill. Do they make it 3? Yes. 3 kills going to be happening here as they have the first objective popping in the next 30 seconds. Death timers are super low at this point in the game, so they're able to go ahead and just pop back up. They'll rotate in. They won't have the positional advantage, but the other thing to note is that Tadava is super, super low here, and I do not think that they have the well available. 22 seconds, I think, on the well, if I saw that correctly. So they're not able to do too much. They're going to have to hearth back here, but they actually rotate in on this, and they will be postured up. They're going to have some spread out from the Deckard Cain bottles here. Healing potion set out. And actually, really quickly, I want to note, I was just skimming through talents. Abathur not taking the speed buff at level 4. We're actually going to be seeing a full shield build come out, so going to have that extra support. And this is actually probably one of the most supportive Abathur builds that you can get. I've actually seen teams run this build for solo support Abathur, and you know actually Alarak gonna get the telekinesis out, the silence will be going out as well. But I've seen teams run this, and like it's risky. Like it was even in HGC, and it's one of those situations where you can get so much value from that, but you're just gonna have to give over a lot of early game, make sure that the enemy team doesn't snowball into you so hard that you can't come back into that late game with just the Abathur. We'll see, though, as we do have the next tribute spawning here in the top lane position. 7 advantage for the members of Tilted Miners. Getting hit quite a bit here. Just going to have to back off, as we do have the Bruiser Camp going to be pushing down the mid lane in just a second. Bottom lane, there is the dash out. Genji not going to be dying here, as Myrmidon is going to be the one that they're looking to get that kill on. Maybe have that death during this phase and just give this over for free. But it will be Danger Camp. Yeah, that was good. That was good, Brian. Brian O'Neill, thank you. We currently, though, have Nats going to be stalled out here for just a couple seconds, as it looks like they will be trying to get this pickup onto the objective, as we have a little bit of a fight freaking out. Rotation's going to come out. No kills. No kills, no big fights. They actually kind of give that over. And that's one of the disadvantages. Excuse me, actually. Big brawl in mid, or at least the clear onto this camp. That's one of the disadvantages of having an Abathur is some teams can punish, in a sense, the lack of bodies in those fights. But if your team can play into it very well, not a big problem. I think the definite thing, though, is Retrofunk's Alarak here. I think has a lot of... Oh, slug. Okay, never mind. I think Alarak, they need to play a little safer on the Alarak, because there is that displacement, and that factor, without having any sort of mobility outside of the Genji and Blaze, as long as they don't really prioritize that, it's difficult for some of these members to get away. But that is actually going to be the Falstad ganked in top lane. I'm just jumping around this map trying to see everything, and we actually lose the Falstad in top lane to the Genji Abathur Arthas, and that's a nice staggered death. But the thing is, it is a Falstad, going to be up in 9 seconds, is going to be having the flight available, so can be able to jump right into that, as they do have this camp on the side of Delta Job's going to be pressuring into that mid lane. Meanwhile, though, Malfurion, Arwolf already setting up. They want to make sure that they deny the curse here. They're going to have to fight over it. 10's on the precipice for the members of Tilted Miners. If they can get this, then they're going to have the clone out, and actually, this is probably going to be 10's. They might have to give this over. They're actually starting to back off here. I think that the smart play... Yup. They'll go ahead and they just rotate right off of that. They're just like, we don't need it. Blaze will go into mid for the clear. At this point, though, they don't have the damage for the clear. They don't have the damage for this. This is risky. No Gust. We have Bunker from the Blaze, Dragon Blade from the Genji, Arm of the Undead from the Varian, Clone from the Abathur. Excuse me, Evolved Monstrosity. Right? Ultimate Evolution. I don't know why I flipped those. From the Abathur, and we have a Twilight Dream from the Malfurion. Yeah, I just fizzled, though. Going to be poked around a little bit here. Isn't going to be yielding them anything too special, though I will note that the next objective is going to be popping in this bottom lane phase, so prepping this is probably the best thing they can do on the side of Adulta Jobs. As I was just about to go ahead and pan up here, I'm like, ooh, there's some dive happening up here. They go ahead and they get another pick onto the Falstad, so opening up this top lane is huge for them. And with this, I don't know if they're going to be able to continue this. They actually dive in on this fight, seeing as how there are 2 members in that top trying to take the advantage while they have it. But at this point, with the Bunker coming out, does Retrofunk have a telekinesis to pull them right back into them? There is going to be the silence going out onto I Just Fizzled, but it will not be enough to continue this fight. 10's, though, going to be achieved on the side of Adulso Job. Going to be having that Blessed Shield out from the Joanna, Counter-Strike from the Alarak. We have the Stay a While and Listen from Nats, and it actually will be popped at this point. They will be losing their Deckard Cain. Arwolf already going to be grabbing the tribute at this point. Lose the Alarak as well, and these members, Tilted Miners, just... Oh, the Abathur Mine. This comp from Adulta Jobs is super ambitious, but I'd love to see it pay off, but it'll be a little rough. It definitely will. It definitely will. Jamster, you are not wrong on that. This is going to be a boss picked up in favor for the members of Tilted Miners. Yeah, they can do this. They should be able to get the clear onto this, pick it up, and then rotate for objective. I was going to say, do they just leave their Zarya top and just deny us? But no, they're going to try and fight this at this point. 10's for either side. There's going to be a huge silence going out onto so many of the members, and Arthas will be falling, as well as the Malfurion. They get just 2 members. The Blaze is still in the Bunker, so I called that a little bit early, as it will be the Blaze falling as well. They get 3 members. Falstad flying top. Abathur went in for the pickup. They didn't expect this, and that is going to be another member falling. They get the curse. That is a huge play for Adulto Jobs, as they're going to go ahead, push down this bottom lane. The Alarak there. Oh my god. And I'm sorry, I think I might have said, no, I did say Counter-Strike. Okay. I thought I had the icon flipped with, oh no. Okay, Genji's fine. With Deadly Charge. I thought I had the 2 icons mixed up in my head. But no, that was Counter-Strike. Oh god, so much damage went out, but it was just instantly reflected to them. They have this boss that is taking little to zero damage. They are going to start to push down this top lane. I'm holding my breath because like our wolf is so low here. Some poke damage with the hydrotic cube. Oh my god, I can't even say it right. Hydrotic cube. There we go. I had to take a breath there. But currently have Abathur and team trying to just push this. Okay, I'm like there's stuns going out either way here. We have a huge, oh my god, oh my god, just the damage that's going out, and they're starting to push onto this keep. We currently have so much damage going up. That's going to be the Genji falling as well. I just fizzled falling so low here. The clone of the Genji will be ending at this time. Blaze going to be falling. Jace is the only one left. Excuse me, the Abathur is still left, and that is going to be another member falling. The boss is on core. They could end here. What? I could... Alright, well that's going to be game number 2. Going over to the members of Adults with Jobs. What an insane turnaround over that boss. And that is going to be game number 2. They're going to be taking it here. GG, well played.